Yeah, the lip sync is definitely not a telling of me as a performer.
Now, last night's episode. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk.
It was emotional for me. I was watching it and I had to be like, oh.
This point of the competition that the judges are gonna ask us who should go home. Are you ready to give that answer?
Say me. I'm ready to go home.
Oh, whoa.
Like, I got everything you were saying, but it just hurt me because I just wanted to see you go all the way. And I personally, I said this, it's out there in the universe already on the YouTube. I don't understand why she was in the bottom. So you made that decision. You wanted to go. Watching the lip sync, it was like a really sad moment, and it was awkward for a lot of people. What was going through me? I can imagine.
I didn't want to be there.
I did whatever came to my head. I wasn't present at all. Jesus!
We just wanted you to know that it was weird as shit.
They asked you what was going on through your head. You said you were not even present.
I wasn't, because otherwise it would have been a different lip sync. I'm not that. First of all, I don't do boy music. That's my number one. I must be honest.
I found that odd. I was like, this is odd choice.
It's an odd choice. I don't do boy music. I don't do boy band music. Even worse, and I don't do boy band music about ejaculation. So I tried to interpret it in a way where I'm just like, okay, listen, I'm going home anyways, just be stupid. And that's kind of just what I do is I just had to throw it to the wind kind of a moment. There's not much more to say about it other than yeah.
Yeah, like people were like, oh, okay, she wanted to go home, but it feels like she was trying to sabotage Gia's performance. But I was like, I don't think so. I felt like she was just in a different space, and she was just like, I'm just moving with the wind, and this is what the wind is pushing me to do.
And that's crazy to think that I want to sabotage anyone, because that's not.
I don't see that for you.
That's not who I presented myself to be on the show either. But one of the things that if you can see or tell for some again Caribbean people, I was whining on her. I'm doing things with her. I'm behind her. I'm jimmying her. I'm being what the song is all about, sexual. So what I was trying to do was failed in the execution of it. But yeah, it was what it was, but there wasn't any malice, any ill content. She is my baby bird.
I don't with Taylor Swift. I don't sing. This voice is not recordable.
You were the narrator of the season for me. Did you know this was happening during taping, or when you were watching back, you're like, wow, I was the narrator this season?
Definitely was oh wow, I really am the narrator of the season. Did not expect it, because a lot of my confessionals I thought were just crazy moments for myself.
Right.
So I was pleasantly surprised to see that I had ended up being the narrator for the season.
Yeah, you really set the tone for everything. Your commentary was so funny. It was just so light. It really made it a joy to watch, you know? I want to ask you a little bit, because I do follow you on social media, and I saw that you were in the States recently.
Yes,
you're related
I literally just got back.
I can imagine. I don't know how you're in drag right now talking to me, but you're related to Anastasia and Aqua from season 1 of Canada's Drag Race.
Mm-hmm.
What's that relationship between you guys?
So we are literal best friends. She's my drag sister. She's basically like my drag mother, although she hates being called that, because that ages the bitch. But yeah, no, she's my drag sister, and I love her dearly. Without her, this would never be anything close to put together.
So did she play an integral role in you preparing for Drag Race and getting everything together for this season?
Absolutely. There was nothing that I didn't run by her. There's nothing that she didn't try to put her hands on. Everything, she was an integrated part of my whole package.
And I just want to give her a quick shout out. She won her pageant, as
She
I found
did.
out through you.
Yeah, she is Miss Gay United States. She won on Sunday. It was a week-long pageant. She had preliminaries to do, and then she had the final night stuff to do. It was a lot of work.
Don't understand the amount of work and dedication that goes into this art, because I could never.
It's a lot. It's a lot. We traveled, we drove. Well, correction, she and one of the principal dancers, Mr. Twisted Miyake Mugler, drove all the way down to Virginia, where she competed. It was a 12-hour trip, which was a lot of fun. Doing it all together. I slept for a lot of it, but it was definitely needed to do. We all banded together. We were all in her talent. We all helped put hands into her garments, making sure everything was ready to go and properly fitted and stoned, and baby, she won.
Love that. She took the crown back to Canada. Look at that.
Always. Who would have thought Miss Gay United States is from Canada?
I know. Who would have thought? Now,
Do you like country songs?
I do. A lot of people don't realize that country music has a lot of roots in the Black culture.
Oh, really? That's true.
Same thing with rock music. All of that stems from a lot of Black greatness.
It's so nice to know that. I didn't know. Thank you.
Yeah.
you were also playing another role on the show, which I loved. In every reaction, I'm like, yes, teach the children, because you were playing a big educational role on the show, making it a point to teach the audience about Black history, which I personally really appreciated. Letting them know about the rock and roll, Miss Tina Turner, like all of that. Now, was this something that you went onto the show trying to be purposeful with the platform, or this is just who you are and it just like naturally comes out of you like that?
So it's a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. Naturally, I do everything, obviously, kind of a little bit of a Black reference, because especially in drag, a lot of things tend to be watered down, washed out a little bit, so that it appears nice for everyone's palate at times. So I do try to make a decision in my drag to always present myself as Black as possible, because I want people to understand our culture, understand where we come from, and embrace it and love it. Because if you can love Beyonce, you can love me. But
of course,
and yes, and also it was a conscious choice, because it sets me apart. While there could be 1,000,001 Black people on the show, because you have myself, you have Ocean, and you have Kendall. Although we represent three different, very, very different types of Black people, I wanted to make sure that I represented who I am, and made sure I made it a focal point that Blackness is a part of the drag experience.
I want the judges to understand that there's other versions of rock and roll, and the original version was Black.
I really love that. Watching it every week and just hearing you speak about these issues in our community and all of these things that a lot of people watching really don't know. I was like, this is necessary. I really love that.
It is. And thank you for that, because it is extremely necessary for I think people to hear about the difficulties that are happening not only in drag but are also happening in the LGBTQ community. A lot of times you have some queens who culturally appropriate or don't understand how to tiptoe around a race issue when it comes to drag. So I think it's important to bring awareness, bring understanding, and talk, because I think talking is the epitome of just communication and understanding. When you can have conversations about things, everyone can kind of come to a grand conclusion or come to an understanding about each other and where each other stands when it comes to certain things.
Definitely agree with you on that.
On this runway, I am wearing a traditional slave garb that would often be seen in the Caribbean.
This runway that you did for the Sinner's Ball,
Yeah.
This is like another educational moment that you saw an opportunity, you took it. I don't know if a lot of people would have thought to go that way. It was a brilliant point of view, and it was a necessary point of view. A lot of times people, it's 400 years ago. No. It's ugly. It's hurtful. It didn't happen to me. It probably didn't happen to you, but we still feel it. And
of course.
Tell me about your decision to do that Ugly as Sin ball and do slavery as your ugly.
The idea is actually, the credit first and foremost goes to my sister Anastasia. I originally wanted to do something like a giant ugly Muppet. That was my original idea, and we were having a conversation one night when we were just preparing, and she's just like, what about slavery? And I'm just like, oh bitch, that could work. I had her make the gown, and the idea of the portrayal came to me later on, and I thought, well, how am I going to showcase this? And I thought really hard about how I wanted to do it. Minimal makeup, barely anything there, and show suffering and pain, because it was exactly what I wanted to portray, was the suffering, the pain, the hurt. And I wanted to explain why it is still important, because while many people want to say, well, it was so long ago, people don't understand that our freedoms only happened within my mother's lifetime. You know, we only became really whole free people in the 60s, where we could honestly be anywhere in the world and have the right to survive and the right to live. And it's tough because I don't think people realize how recent it still was and still is, because systemic racism continues to limit so many things. I made a statement in one of my posts where I said I'll never understand or never have the ability to truly be free, and I mean that, because no matter what, we are always censored. You always have to try and not be too black, or not talk about certain issues, because, well, people won't want to work with you if you talk about these issues. People won't want to deal with you if you have these
necessary.
opinions.
You have to vocalize these things so that people understand that it's still prevalent and it still hurts. I love that. When you walked out on that stage with your hands bound, literally, my jaw was dropped, and for the entire time, I love that they stopped the music and all I heard was your voice narrating. That was everything for me.
And that's literally how it was when we did the filming. It was dead quiet. There was not a sound, not a mouse, nothing could be heard. And I thank Drag Race for doing that, because they didn't know what was coming until I was kind of doing it, and they're just like, oh, wait, hold on, and I already warned them. I was like, I think you guys might want to put me last, because this is going to be a little bit of a trigger warning. And when they actually saw it and the quiet was there, I think it told the story it needed to tell.
Definitely did.
And I think it reminded people that this is still very real and very personable.
I agree with you on that.
Bitch, you better bring it to the floor, because I will always give you what? Amour.
Going into a little bit of a lighter topic and talking more about your runways. You had some really incredible fashions on the show. What was your favorite that you got to showcase?
Honestly, be the Deborah Cox.
I thought you were going to say it. I thought it was spectacular.
Thank you. That's the epitome of who I am. That's the epitome of my drag. That aesthetic, the feathers, the gowns, the crystals, all the crystal fringe. that was put on it. Every aspect of it is the epitome of my drag. That's what I do. I
like you're
love that aspect.
Big on ballroom and big on pageant drag, because that's all I saw when I saw it. I will admit, when I first saw it, I was like, this is everything, but I don't recognize it from a Deborah Cox film. I had to go and check. And
You have to scroll. And I was talking about that earlier with someone else, but I had said it was very difficult to find a Black celebrity, actress or actor, who had a prominent role in a movie, who had a life-changing moment, because that is what we had to pick, was a life-changing moment in a person who acts in film. And
it had to be Canadian.
And it had to be Canadian. And
when I heard that, I was like, all right, I feel like Kimora is going to want to do a Black person.
Yeah.
How many are there to choose from?
Almost zero. And I really do admit there's almost zero. We have Black people who are in film and who are Canadian, but there isn't a moment that people can recognize. And I picked that moment because under the post, Deborah Cox said that this was so important for her. And it was this glorious picture of just her in these feathers. And I said, that's it.
That's the one.
And I said, that's the one, that's it. And when I sent it in for approval, they gave me the green light. And I'm like, yes, because I know she's a singer, but she is an actress as well. She's been in quite a number of movies. So I was very lucky to have found that moment and to be able to play on it, because I think it also gave Canada a little bit of a look to go look at their actors and actresses and realize that there are things that are happening and there's things that they're doing that they don't even realize that they're doing, and there's greatness in it.
I love that. I love that you went and did the deep dive to find that special moment to share with us.
Yeah,
now,
I'm really appreciative for her for posting it so we could definitely share in it.
I love that.
I'm looking for roles that require no singing. Baby, we can hum a tune, but that's as far as it goes.
Do you feel like the audience, the world watching, got to see the full spectrum or scope of Kimora Amour and what she stands for and what her drag is?
In general, yeah. Because, to be honest, what my drag was, you can sum up in 3 episodes. My drag, or actually probably 4. The Circus Berserkers, there's me in the ballroom scene. Then you go to the Canadian Icon. There's me in the pageant world. And then you have the Pop Princess, which was very much me in a glamorized kind of one second, I think someone's at the door. 1 second, sorry.
Okay.
Finally, another moment, which was basically the ugliest sin. And that moment in itself was very much me when I perform in different aspects, because I love to storytell. So I think they did get a generalization of who I am as a queen in general. But to me, Drag Race doesn't ever really define a person. It gives you, because those challenges aren't things that I would normally do in real life half the time. But the lip sync is definitely not a telling of me as a performer, because it's not a song I would perform. Give me a good ballad. Give me, no offense, give me something Black. I don't tend to perform many Caucasian artists apart from Adele, Sia, and the odd really good rock song. There's a few amazing, like Evanescence. Ooh, you want to see me perform? Put on some Evanescence. But that's where that's where my drag goes into. I love the emotion. I love the gut wrenching. I love to be able to make people feel things. So in general, they got a good idea of who I am, but it only gives you snippets. There's an hour and there is 12 queens. You can only learn so much about
Drag
me.
Race, you can't ever know everything about someone from a reality TV show. So I feel like we got to know just enough.
just unless we were like season was a 13 of Drag Race, which was like 26 episodes.
Oh my
then
God,
maybe
4
you get
months
to know
long.
me a little bit more because baby, there's a whole bunch of time. but yeah, no, and it's extremely difficult in 10 episodes to be able to sum up the epitome of drag in general.
Speaking of sisters, Kendall Jenner is here. If Drake and drag is your fantasy, look no further.
All right, Kimora. So on a lighter note, I play this game with everyone that I speak with. It's Shag, Marry, Kill. Can you tell me who you'd like to shag on the cast, who you'd like to marry, and who you'd like to kill?
Oh, that's easy. Okay, Shag,
Oh, I
Gia.
love that it's easy.
It's easy. Shag, Gia. Gia looks like a good time in bed. Period.
She
point
talks
blank,
a lot
that's it.
about like her sexual fantasies and exploitation.
I don't remember if they showed it, but I think they did when when OCN left. She goes, Gia, great package. Gia was the one who was running around in her underwear most of the season, and baby, it's something to look at.
Mary?
Marry Isis. I love Isis so much. Isis and me are, what can I say? Like
She was
I
so
married her in a
sad
heartbeat.
when, you guys seem to have a real connection there. I love to see that.
We do.
Who would you kill?
Adriana. But that's just the truth, and that's what you're gonna get from me, the dead ass truth. But yes, Adriana.
Well, we love to see it. Honesty. Hey beautiful humans, you've made it this far in this video. Why not subscribe to my Patreon? You can sign up for exclusive content I don't post on YouTube, or support me making content for this channel. Speaking of, why don't you watch another video?